The 2010s marked the rise of a new generation of legends in WWE, where talent, personality, and charisma left an unforgettable mark on fans around the world. It was not only a period of transition between eras, but also a time that reshaped the entire face of professional wrestling. From resilient warriors to revolutionary icons, each superstar played a vital role in writing history. Let's look back at the 10 greatest wrestlers who defined this decade. 10. Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura is living proof that personality and talent can completely transform how fans perceive a superstar. Making his WWE debut in 2016, he quickly sparked a powerful wave of excitement with his trademark strong style, a unique blend of intensity, precision, and refinement in every strike. Nakamura isn't just a wrestler. He is an artist who turns the ring into a stage, where every move, every glance, and even silence radiates an unmistakable aura. From the moment he set foot in NXT, Nakamura showed he was unlike anyone else. He delivered unforgettable matches that pulled audiences into every dramatic moment. Winning the NXT championship was more than a title. It was proof that strong style could shine on a global stage. Each appearance ignited arenas with an energy few could sustain over time. His transition to the main roster brought new challenges, but Nakamura never lost his identity. He captured both the Intercontinental and United States championships, becoming one of the most influential Asian figures in WWE history. His success not only marked personal triumphs but also paved the way for other talents from Japan and across Asia to enter the worldwide spotlight. What truly sets Nakamura apart isn't just his championships, but his ability to tell stories through wrestling. He can turn a simple exchange into an emotional crescendo that leaves fans on the edge of their seats. With his distinctive style, Nakamura proved that creativity and individuality can stand equal to strength and technical mastery. Looking back at the 2010s, Shinsuke Nakamura was more than an international star. He became a symbol of the fusion between art and sport. He transformed wrestling into a unique experience, ensuring that whenever the name King of Strong Style is heard, fans remember the magic he brought to the ring. 9. Becky Lynch. At the start of the 2010s, Becky Lynch wasn't even part of the wrestling world. After suffering a serious head injury, the 19-year-old was forced to hang up her boots, seemingly ending her dream for good. During her time away from the ring, Lynch worked as a flight attendant while also exploring acting and dance. Few could have imagined that Rebecca Knox, the name she was barely known by on the independent scene, would rise to become WWE's biggest star in less than a decade. Back then, WWE still treated women's wrestling as secondary, with little room for female talent to stand toe-to-toe with the men. Yet Becky's comeback shattered that perception. By the end of 2019, she wasn't just the leading figure among women. She stood shoulder to shoulder with, and at times eclipsed, top male superstars by headlining WrestleMania in a history-making victory, something no woman had ever achieved before. When the women's revolution ignited in 2015, Lynch debuted alongside Charlotte Flair and Paige. Fans admired her heart, resilience, and fiery style, but she was clearly placed behind other marquee names. It seemed her destiny was to remain in the supporting cast, until a pivotal moment at SummerSlam 2018. That night, years of pent-up frustration boiled over. Becky turned on Charlotte, the perennial favorite, and the attack instantly resonated with fans. Instead of rejecting her, the crowd erupted in support, rallying behind her rebellious spirit. From that moment, the man was born, a bold, unapologetic persona willing to speak out, fight hard, and challenge every boundary. Before this transformation, Becky was already a reliable performer. But with that daring shift, she evolved into perhaps the most complete female star WWE had ever seen. She no longer represented the half-hearted image of the diva era. As the man, she forged a raw, authentic bond with the audience. What began as a verbal jab at Charlotte ultimately became a powerful declaration of her rightful place in WWE history. 8. Seth Rollins. The Architect, the Kingslayer, the Beast Slayer. These nicknames defined Seth Rollins throughout the 2010s, reflecting the wide range of his career. On one hand, Rollins was a rare phenomenon. His speed, technical skill, and explosive style made him a star that fans, whether they loved or hated him, had to admit was among the very best of his generation. On the other hand, his blunt statements and almost excessive pride in representing WWE sometimes drew criticism, causing many to overlook the fact that even before being linked with Becky Lynch, Rollins had already been the man in his own right. Before joining WWE, he made a major impact in Ring of Honor under the name Tyler Black. In 2010, Rollins delivered standout title matches against Roderick Strong, Austin Aries, and Davey Richards, cementing himself as a top talent. That run of success caught WWE's attention. Rebranded as Seth Rollins, he quickly became one of the brightest stars in NXT, often seen as the valedictorian of the developmental system. The question, however, was clear. Could a wrestler who relied on speed and athleticism, with only an average build, truly thrive in WWE, a company historically built around giants? The answer came at the end of 2012, when Rollins, alongside Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, debuted as The Shield, immediately becoming a dominant force. His ultimate breakthrough arrived at WrestleMania 31, when Rollins cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase during the main event, creating one of the most unforgettable moments in history and capturing the World Championship. As a character, Rollins could embody a cunning, ruthless manipulator. But as an in-ring performer, he consistently delivered at the highest level. From a legendary 65-minute marathon on Raw to countless show-stealing matches praised as the best of the night. Controversial at times, his hunger to prove himself as WWE's top star never faded. That relentless drive solidified him as one of the defining figures of WWE throughout the 2010s. 7. Bray Wyatt, the harbinger of nightmares. During a period when WWE was desperate for innovation, Bray Wyatt emerged and delivered something completely different. He wasn't just a wrestler, he was a master of character creation. Wyatt transformed the ring into a cinematic stage filled with eerie theatrics, where horror and mystery unfolded through both physicality and psychology. Fans didn't merely watch his matches, they were pulled into the bizarre world he crafted. With his haunting voice, deliberate movements, hypnotic stare, and the aura of a dark prophet, Wyatt sent chills down the spines of audiences. Leading the Wyatt family like a cult figure, he instilled both curiosity and fear in fans. Yet it was the Fiend, Wyatt's terrifying alter ego, that cemented his place as an immortal figure. The demonic mask, his sinister entrances under flickering lights, and his viciously brutal style made the Fiend one of the most talked-about personas of the late 2010s. What truly set Wyatt apart wasn't just his in-ring skill, but his uncanny ability to manipulate emotions. Each appearance could silence tens of thousands in tense anticipation before erupting into explosive reactions. His creativity redefined storytelling in WWE, proving that wrestling is not only about physical power but also about psychological performance. Although his career had its ups and downs, Bray Wyatt's legacy in the 2010s is undeniable. He was more than a superstar. He was the figure who brought nightmares to life, leaving an unforgettable mark on the wrestling world. 6. AJ Styles, the Phenomenal One. At the start of the 2010s, AJ Styles was still seen as the heart and soul of TNA, holding the World Heavyweight Championship. Yet, if anyone had claimed back then that within the next decade he would go on to capture both the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and the WWE World Championship, most fans would have dismissed it as impossible. Despite being the face of TNA, Styles was often overshadowed by established stars the company brought in from elsewhere. That favoritism raised doubts about whether he could ever break free from the small pond that seemed to limit his growth. But Styles never allowed perception to define him. From the earliest days of his career, he proved that given enough time in the ring, he could turn any match into a masterpiece. His relentless, daring, and innovative style quickly convinced fans that he was the kind of performer who could either steal the show or save it when necessary. Over a decade ago, his legendary battles with Jerry Lynn already showed the world he was destined to leave a lasting legacy. His time in New Japan Pro Wrestling became a turning point. Styles proved he belonged on the same level as Okada, Suzuki, and Nakamura. More than that, his leadership of the Bullet Club elevated his star power to new heights, earning the respect that many had once denied him. Then came the explosive moment of his WWE debut in 2016. Within just a year, AJ Styles convincingly defeated John Cena and captured WWE's most prestigious championship, cementing his place in history. AJ Styles' journey stands as living proof that true talent cannot be overlooked. Respected by the three biggest wrestling promotions in the world, he earned everything through persistence, resilience, and unmatched dedication. Even at an age when most performers begin to slow down, Styles continues to deliver world-class performances. If anyone deserves the title of phenomenal for the decade of the 2010s, it is without a doubt AJ Styles. 5. Chris Jericho. As the 2010s began, Chris Jericho had just split from Big Show and quickly reinvented himself as an arrogant, selfish, yet magnetic figure. Moving away from the familiar Y2J persona, he transformed into a character fans loved to hate but couldn't ignore. That journey carried him even further, and by the end of the decade, he stood as the spiritual leader of all elite wrestling, carrying the swagger of a rock star who saw himself on equal footing with the very company he helped establish. The Axl Rose style fedora was just one of countless props that marked Jericho's constant reinventions. With multiple world championships to his name, he proved to be a master of adaptation, changing his look, character, and attitude like a pop star who always knows how to stay relevant. Throughout his career, Jericho has refused to let himself become outdated. At 49, he no longer had the same speed, but fans dubbed him the ageless wrestler. He consistently kept up with the times, always finding ways to keep audiences invested. From high-profile returns in New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he was greeted like a conquering hero, to his role as the face of AEW, Jericho continually reinforced his legacy. Even WWE repeatedly invited him back for pivotal moments, and each appearance brought a refreshed version of his character. Like Metallica in music, Jericho may not burn with the same raw energy he once had, but he still delivers explosions of excitement. His matches against Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, and Tetsuya Naito proved he could still go toe-to-toe with the very best. More importantly, Jericho became a model teammate, using his star power to elevate rising names like Darby Allin, Scorpio Sky, and the members of the Inner Circle. Few wrestlers in this era wielded influence as profoundly as Le Champion. At every stage of his career, Jericho has remained a wrestler's wrestler, a tireless contributor who has never lost his edge. 4. Brock Lesnar. Set aside the sparse schedule, and Lesnar's true value becomes clear. He was a once-in-a-generation performer who always carried an unmatched aura. Critics often mocked his German suplex party style as repetitive, but much of that was due to creative booking. Whenever given the chance to unleash his full arsenal, Lesnar reminded the world he was still a top-tier fighter, both brutally powerful and surprisingly agile. Throughout the decade, his clashes with CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Samoa Joe all proved that Lesnar could deliver spectacular matches against a wide range of opponents. His brutal Hell in a Cell war with The Undertaker in 2015 rekindled the same intensity their legendary battle had nearly 13 years earlier. Ironically, his limited schedule became an advantage. Each appearance felt like a major event, never ordinary or overexposed. Yes, there were times when controversy flared because the company's champion was absent for long stretches, but that responsibility lay with WWE, not Lesnar himself. From his 2012 return through roughly 2017, simply announcing that he would appear at an event was enough to send fans into a frenzy. His box office appeal, influence beyond WWE, and unique in-ring presence cemented him as a rare superstar. Few of his generation matched the raw strength, overwhelming presence, and drawing power of the Beast incarnate. Brock Lesnar stands as proof that sometimes, quality truly does outweigh quantity. 3. CM Punk. When it comes to cultural impact in WWE during the 2010s, few names stand on the same level as CM Punk. Even though he wrestled for less than half the decade, the legacy he left behind continues to resonate. Whenever Punk appeared as a commentator or special guest on WWE programming, rumors of a comeback instantly erupted, as if fans never stopped hoping to see him walk down the ramp again. And even after years away, the prodigal Punk remained a figure impossible to ignore. That magnetic pull came not only from his unforgettable matches against John Cena, Daniel Bryan, Brock Lesnar, and The Undertaker, but also from his ability to stir raw emotion in the crowd. Inside the ring, Punk ranked among the finest performers of his era. Yet what truly set him apart was his mastery of the microphone. In a WWE environment that often felt overly safe and tightly scripted, Punk radiated danger, honesty, and fire. Every promo became a punch to the monotony, giving fans the unfiltered truth they craved. This is why his name still echoes at WWE events, often as a chant of rebellion against restriction and formulaic storytelling. Audiences saw themselves reflected in his anger, frustration, and relentless drive to smash through barriers. The historic night at Money in the Bank 2011 remains the clearest proof. In front of his hometown crowd in Chicago, Punk toppled the system, and embodied the spirit of defiance. That victory was not just his alone. It belonged to everyone who had ever felt overlooked or excluded. It was this authenticity and the powerful connection he forged with fans that elevated CM Punk into one of the greatest icons of the 2010s. 2. John Cena. John Cena built the foundation of his career in the 2000s, but moving into the 2010s, he remained the brightest star in WWE's sky. More than just the face of the company, Cena became a symbol of resilience and an unyielding fighting spirit. In an era when WWE constantly shifted talent and direction, he held firmly to the top, proving the timeless weight of his influence. Throughout the 2010s, Cena repeatedly captured the WWE Championship and the United States Championship while standing at the center of the company's biggest events, especially WrestleMania. No decade has passed without his name being tied to iconic matches, each appearance turning into a focal point that drew millions worldwide. From his heated battles with The Rock and Brock Lesnar to his unforgettable rivalry with CM Punk, Cena helped shape some of the decade's most memorable moments. What set Cena apart wasn't just the titles he earned but the style and message he carried. His never give up mantra was more than a catchphrase. It reflected his very character, persistent, determined, and always ready to rise after every setback. That image made him a role model for countless fans, not only inside the ring but also in real life. While many colleagues struggled to hold their place, Cena maintained a unique bond with audiences of all ages. He could be cheered wildly or booed loudly, yet no one could deny his importance to WWE. Looking back on the 2010s, John Cena was more than a champion. He was the figure who defined an era. An enduring icon, he proved that perseverance and unwavering belief can transform a man into a legend. 1. Daniel Bryan. When fans think of Daniel Bryan, the image that comes to mind is that of a small but relentless warrior who knew how to create unforgettable moments. Behind his modest frame was an unyielding heart, and inside the ring, Bryan turned every battle into a living testament of grit and perseverance. Perhaps the clearest illustration of Bryan's appeal was that legendary night in Seattle. During what was supposed to be a solemn tribute to former champions, the entire crowd erupted in chants for Bryan, treating him as the true star rather than the afterthought the company once positioned him as. His awkward smile, mixed with surprise, revealed a humble man who could hardly believe he had captured the audience's hearts so completely. Known as the American Dragon, Bryan wasn't just one of the finest technical wrestlers of his generation. He was also a symbol of overcoming the odds. He never relied on flashy gimmicks to stand out. What drew millions of fans to him was the passion he poured into every performance. His flawless submissions, his crashes against larger opponents, and his refusal to stay down no matter the pain. What made Bryan's journey unique was that the fans didn't simply cheer for him, they stood beside him. The Yes movement became a historic phenomenon, a groundswell so powerful that it forced WWE to rewrite its plans for WrestleMania 30, putting Bryan at the very center of its biggest stage. And then, under a shower of fireworks in the Superdome, Bryan raised both championship belts high, completing a fairy tale few thought possible. Bryan never set out to make himself a symbol, but through authenticity, hard work, and extraordinary skill, he became the voice of an entire generation of fans. The 2010s will forever be remembered with the image of Daniel Bryan, smiling brightly, arms raised to the endless rhythm of "Yes" chants. These were the 10 greatest wrestlers of the 2010s, the ones who forever changed WWE. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to support Wrestling Sphere.